Shalom, y'all. This is Hawood. So this is more information on the destroyer. As you can see, you can't see it because it's small in my screen. Alright, so this is out of the Concordant Bible. This is the book of creation. This is the destruction and recreation, chapter 3. Again, this is out of the Concordant Bible, the book of creation, chapter 3, the destruction and recreation. I just had to put my phone really close. Alright, now I'm going to do this video, and then I'm going to read from another book, and then I'm going to read something that I found when listening to Big Judah's video when he read Revelation 6. I'm going to show y'all something that I found in there. Alright, so I'm going to have to put my phone down because I can't hold it and read this. I can't even see it. Alright, but let's get through this. Alright, y'all. Alright, here we are. Concordant Bible, the book of creation, the destruction and recreation, chapter 3. It is known, a story comes down from the ancient times, that there was not one creation, but two, a creation and a recreation. It is fact. I knew this was going to happen. Hold on, y'all. My screen times out, and my silly behind keeps forgetting to turn it off to do it, so I'm sorry. Fact. It is a fact known to the wise that the earth was utterly destroyed once and reborn on a second wheel of creation. At the time of the great destruction of earth, I'm not going to say God or the word Lord, so I'm just letting you know. Hawa calls a dragon. I want you to hear what I just said. It says Hawa caused a dragon. So he told the dragon to do this. Just so, because when you hear something else, some people get confused when they hear it. Hawa caused a dragon from out of heaven to come and encompass her about. Her about is the earth. The earth is known as a female because she gives birth. The dragon was frightful to behold. It lashed its tail. It breathed out fire and hot coals. And a great catastrophe was inflicted upon man. The body of the dragon was wrapped in a cold, bright light, and beneath, on the belly, was a ruddy hue glow. So usually like a cold, bright light is like what they would call cool white. You know, like your headlights, it's like a white. It's actually, I'm going to show y'all what it looked like. You see my hand just go by, right? That's what you would call a cold white light. This is what you would call a cold white light right there. Okay? All right. Okay, where was I at? Okay. The belly was a ruddy hue glow, while behind it trailed a flowing tail of smoke. It spewed out cinders and hot stones, and its breath was foul and stenchful, poisoning the nostrils of men. Its passage caused great thunderings and lightnings to rend a thick darkened sky, all heaven and earth being made hot. The seas were loosened from their cradles and rose up, pouring across the land. There was an awful shrilling trumpeting, which outpowered even the howling of the unleashed winds. Man, stricken with terror, went mad at the awful sight in the heavens. They were loosed from their senses and dashed about, crazed, not knowing what they did. The breath was sucked from their bodies, and they were burnt with a strange ash. Then it passed, leaving earth unwrapped within a dark and glowing mantle, which was ruddily lit up inside. Sorry, the bowels of the earth were torn open in the great wreathing upheavals, and the howling whirlwind rent the mountains apart. The wrath of the sky monster was loosed in the heavens. It lashed about in flaming fury, roaring like 1,000 thunders. It poured down fury, destruction amid a welter of thick blood, black blood. So awesome was the fearfully aspected thing that the memory mercifully departed from man. His thoughts were smothered under a cloud of forgetfulness. The earth vomited forth a great gust of foul breath from awful mouths opening up in the midst of the land. The evil breath bit at the throat before it drove men mad and killed them. Those who did not die from this manner were smothered under a cloud of red dust and ash, or were swallowed by the yawning mouths of the earth, or crushed beneath crashing rocks. The first sky monster was joined by another, which swallowed the tail of the one going before. But the two could not be seen at once. The sky monster reigned and raged above the earth, doing battle to possess it. But the many-bladed sword of Hawa cut them in pieces, and their falling bodies enlarged the land and the sea. So right here, this confused people, because it's like, okay, well, it just said he sent them, so why would he destroy them? Because they did what he sent them to do, so he cut them down. That's what he did. Just like with Leviathan, that's an animal, but he's going to destroy them because the animal is being used for wickedness. That's where they tell you the beast, the devil is in the sea and all that bull crap the church is telling you. That the Leviathan, they call him Satan, all that stuff. That's what the church be saying. But that's an animal. So, when they use something, they turn something wicked or worship it, he destroys it like an idol. So that's just something that some people don't know, but it's true. In this manner, the first earth was destroyed by calamity, descending out of the skies. The vaults of heaven were opened to bring forth monsters more fearsome than any that ever haunted the uneasy dreams of men. Men and their dwelling places were gone. Only sky boulders and red earth remained where once they were. So, you notice he said sky boulders, right? He didn't say mountains. He said sky boulders. So these are rocks that's in the heavens. Big ass rocks, excuse my French, but yeah, now listen to these people. Oh, the vacuum of space, it's empty up there. Keep listening to them. That's why in that Hennessy commercial, he show you that light coming when he enters the water. Like, he's showing you that he's being seen, saying something else now, like a land or something. Pay attention. I'm trying to tell y'all. Alright, where was I at? Okay, the sky boulders remain where they once were. In the midst of all this destruction, a few survived, for men is not easily destroyed. They crept from the caves and down from the mountainsides. Their eyes were wild, and their limbs trembled. Their bodies shook, and their tongues lacked control. Their faces were twisted, and the skin hung loose on their bones. They were as maddened wild beasts driven into an enclosure before flames. They knew no law, being deprived of all the wisdom they once had, and those who had guided them were gone. The earth, only true altar of Hawa, had offered up a sacrifice of life and sorrow to atone for the sins of mankind. Y'all need to listen to this. Man had not sinned, indeed, but in the things he had failed to do. Read it again. Man had not sinned, indeed, but in the things he failed to do. Keep listening. Put your ears up. Open your ears up, y'all. Man suffers not only for what he does, but for what he fails to do. He is not chastised for making mistakes. He is not chastised for making mistakes. So when you make a mistake, you're not going to get punished for it. This is what you're going to get punished for. But for failing to recognize and rectify them. So when you make a mistake, if you don't realize that you messed up and you don't rectify it, that's when you bring trouble on yourself. Then the great canopy of dust and cloud, which encompassed the earth, enshrouded it in a heavy darkness, was pierced by a ruddy light, and the canopy swept down in great cloud bursts of raging storm waters. Cool moon tears were shed for the distress of the earth and the woes of man. When the light of the sun pierced the earth's shroud, bathing the land in its revitalizing glory, the earth again knew night and day. For there were now times of light and times of darkness. Hold on. Stupid ass computer. Excuse me, y'all. I think I'm going to go in here and handle this ASAP. Alright. Okay, where was I at? Sorry, y'all. Times of night and day. For there were now times of light and times of darkness. The smothering canopy rolled away, and the vaults of heaven became invisible to man. So they were able to see all this when this was happening. The foul air was purified, and new air clothed and reborn the earth, shedding her from the dark hostile void of heaven. The rainstorms ceased to beat upon the faces of the land, and the waters stilled their turmoil. Earthquakes no longer tore the earth open, nor was it burned and buried by hot rocks. The land masses were reestablished in stability and solidity, standing firm in the midst of the surrounding waters. The heavens above, in fear for the awful powers of destruction lurking near, henceforth the blessed skies would hold a terrifying secret. All right. Hold on. Okay. The waters were purified and the sediment sank. Life increased in abundance. Life was renewed, but it was different. Man survived, but he was not the same. The sun was not as it had been, and the moon had been taken away. Man stood in the midst of renewal and regeneration. He looked up into the heavens above in fear of the awful powers. That's why I messed up at. That's why I'm reading it again. Powers of destruction lurking there, and henceforth the blessed skies would hold a terrifying secret. Man found the new earth firm and the heavens fixed. He rejoiced, but also feared and lived in dread that the heavens would again bring forth monsters and crash about him. When man came forth from their hiding places and refuges, the world their fathers known was gone forever. The face of the land was changed, and the earth was littered with rocks and stones, which had fallen when the structures of heaven collapsed. That sounds like the sky splitting open. Yeah, the firmament breaking. The generations groped in the desolation and gloom. As the thick darkness was dispelled, its children believed they were witnessing a new creation. Time passed, memory dimmed, and the record of events was no longer clear. Generations followed generations, and as the ages unfolded, new tongues and new tales replaced the old. This is more in-depth information on the destroyer. Now, I'm going to jump in my Bible, and I'm going to read my old Bible, and I'm going to read Revelation 6. It's exactly the same way Judah read it, but I heard something when he was reading it. I actually did hear something, so I said, "Whoa, let me pull this, bring this out." Okay, all right. And when this is Revelation 6 and 7. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard a voice of the fourth beast say, "Come and see." So the seal is like a window. You see what I'm saying? It's like a window. It's like you looking through a window, looking at something. Right? There was one thing I noticed, right? Alright. Okay, and he said, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse. That's the first thing. A pale horse. I'll get into that a little bit in a second. Behold, a pale horse. Hold on. And his name that sat on him was Death, right? And hell followed with him. You hear this? And death, right? And hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part, to kill with sword and hunger. So when it's talking about this pale horse, it's talking about a man on a horse. And then it says power given to them. That's talking about the nation, the people that came. Pale. They're pale people. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it just said. It was talking about, it was literally talking about the people. It's not talking about a spirit. It's talking about the people. Look, it says, "Come and see, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death." Their name is Death. That's what they do. They destroy. That's all they do. And hell followed with them, and that's what they do. Cause hell. And power was given unto them over the fourth part. Them. Not him. Them. That's talking about the people that came here to destroy. It's not talking about a spiritual thing. That's talking about a physical him. Him is Columbus. He was the first one. And then he brung them. And they destroyed the fourth part, which is us. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this one. And then I'm going to jump on and I'm going to come back on. And I'm going to read the other thing because it says my recording's about to end in a second. I got to erase some stuff. Alright, so I'm going to upload this real quick, y'all. And we'll go from there. But that's talking about the first man that came here, which was Columbus. That's what power was given unto him. He's the one that came. Then he brung them, which was those people. That's what that's showing you. It was showing the Most High was showing whoever that was, because I don't believe in that Jesus God. It was showing Columbus being allowed to come over here. He came over and he was on a horse. He got off his boat. He got right on a horse. That's exactly what he did. He got on a horse. He's a pale man. Then once he established what he was established, then he brung them. That's why it says, and power was given to them. Their people came. All those pale demons came here and destroyed. And all they've been doing is causing death. That's all they've been doing. That's crazy, ain't it, y'all? All right, y'all. I'm going to get into this book. It's a book about the Druids. I'm going to tell you the name of it. I hope this don't cut out. If it do cut out, then I'll tell you the name in the second video. But as soon as this stupid thing move. Did I turn it back on? Yeah, there you go. Alright, hold on. Why does this thing always got to be so elusive? Where are you? Oh, there you go. Dang. Hold on, y'all. This witch column is so crazy. Alright. So the name of this book is this is what I'm about to read right here. Druidism. The Ancient Faith of Britain by Dudley Wright. So I'm about to do this video right now, but I know my phone's about to cut out. So I'm gonna cut this off, upload it, and then I'm gonna jump on this. Shalom.